Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. So we got a little bit of breaking news this morning. It actually broke, I think, late last night. Wanted to dive into it, kind of give you guys all the details that we know as of the moment. Of course, we're talking about Rasheed Walker being allegedly arrested in New York City. Again, I want to be very, very careful with this stuff because we're going off of one article from the New York Post. There's other people starting to talk about it. I think I'd seen Matt Schneidman talk about it, Wendell Ferrer, a couple other people. So I just want to say this before we get into all the information. Everyone, do your own research. I'm going to use the word allegedly. All right. And everyone's innocent until proven guilty on anything. And I know anytime that gun charges or guns get brought up, people get very, very, this group goes to their corner, the other goes to their corner, and it can get kind of messy. What I'm going to do is bring you what we know as the facts as of the moment until we hear otherwise, and just kind of give you an update on what that might mean for Rasheed Walker's value, obviously going into free agency. Unfortunately for him, he's set to hit free agency. I think they said the court date is going to be the 19th and free agency opens the 12th. So I don't know if you could have any worse timing. Maybe they'll try to push to get everything settled, taken care of, to prove, hey, look, no ill intent here, just an honest mistake. Could be the case. There's probably people hearing me say that go, Clayton, you're being way too easy right now. You're being way too easy. I'm just a fan, all right? I'm not an expert. I'm not an insider. I'm not a media member. I'm a fan just like you, and we hop in here and we talk Packers on a regular basis. So looks like we got Jacob joining us here now. And so, again, we're going to talk about the Rasheed Walker news that just dropped. Going to be a real quick episode for you guys and gals. We're going to get out. We're going to reset and do an episode later a little more specifically about the offensive line. Before we do, if you guys would do that YouTube stuff for me, hit like, hit subscribe, click the bell icon. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on a daily basis. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you don't miss out on future live streams. All right, let's dive into it. Waste no time. Again, we got Jacob joining us. Jacob, I kind of laid a prerequisite out here. We're going to talk about the details that we know on the situation with Rasheed Walker. And we're going to always say allegedly here. We don't know until the legal process obviously plays out. I think we would all agree it's kind of bad timing for Rasheed Walker about to hit free agency. So I'm going to read the New York Post article to you guys. You guys can go check it out yourself over on X. They tweeted it out and everything. And then I've got a little Cliff Notes version. We'll talk about his contract value and all that. All right. So Green Bay Packers, and again, this is the New York Post that posted this article January 23rd, yesterday at 11:21 p.m. So last night, that's Eastern time, all right? And it says Green Bay Packers player Rasheed Walker arrested on gun charges at New York City's LaGuardia airport, sources say, all right? Green Bay Packers player Rasheed Walker was arrested at LaGuardia Friday morning after he tried to check a bag that contained a handgun and ammunition, prosecutors said. The 25-year-old offensive lineman was taken into custody before 11 a.m. after telling a Delta Airlines employee that his luggage contained a lockbox holding his 9mm Glock pistol. Sponsor of the show, Glock. According to a criminal complaint, Port Authority police were alerted and responded to Terminal C, where they searched his bag and found the firearm and 36 rounds of ammo secured in the locked case. All right, he goes on to say Walker, who joined the Wisconsin team in May 2022, was charged with 2 counts of second-degree criminal possession of a weapon and criminal possession of a firearm. His attorney, Arthur Adalia, if I'm saying that right, told the Post that the firearm was legally licensed in Wisconsin, where Walker plays football. Adalia said the NFL player didn't realize he couldn't travel with the gun in New York. Quote, it was in a locked box and he disclosed it to the people at the airport, Adalia explained. Quote, he told a person from Delta he was traveling with a firearm. He mistakenly thought because he had a licensed firearm and it was in a locked box that he would be able to travel with it. We are confident the case will be dismissed, end of quote. So that was obviously Rasheed Walker's attorney talking about this. Now, again, we are a fan-driven show, all right? We're not actual media. We're not tied to the NFL. We're not tied to the Packers. You see it right in the bio. We are a Packer-run show. I'm going to give my personal experience here and how I could see how this mistake can happen. And we'll get Jacob's take, and we'll keep it clean as we can here. And again, everything is alleged until the legal process, kind of plays itself out. I was raised, you could probably hear by my voice, in the backwoods of Kentucky. All right. I remember my earliest memory of using a firearm was 4 or 5 years old. Like that's honestly, my parents, my dad was teaching me how to safely handle a firearm. And listen, I would love to sit here and tell you, oh, no, we were hunting to protect or hunting to feed our family. I know there's a lot of people like that, and I did a lot of hunting growing up. My dad taught me how to use a firearm so I could protect our family when he was at home. Period, case closed. We grew up a little bit rougher, but it is what it is. When I took my trip to New York, I've been to New York several times, and typically when I travel, I'll travel with a firearm, right? It's just down here, the laws are in Tennessee, not so much in Kentucky now. I don't believe it probably does apply in Kentucky. I haven't looked at the laws too much back home in a while, but in Tennessee, our local law enforcement encourage people to get concealed licenses. They want good citizens armed to protect themselves and their family, right? So it's common down here for people to pack. That's just the way it is, right? When you get into bigger cities, the gun laws become really, really tight, really, really restricted. So when I traveled to NYC several times, dude, it kind of hurt me to not be able to take a firearm with me. But I went in knowing, all right, man, up there, they don't care how, what you plan to do with a firearm. They don't care anything about your background, how safe you are with a firearm. It's real simple. We don't want anybody carrying a firearm is how they look at it. Unfortunately, things like this happen and get kind of lost in the shuffle along the way. So my personal experience, like when I go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, I have close friends who will remain nameless, that they will provide me with a firearm. And that's just the way I roll. Again, you're not allowed to pack it in the Lambeau Field and stuff like that. That's stupid to go to a huge public place like that. And you know what I mean? Especially where there's security and everything. So whatever home I'm staying in, wherever I'm staying, I've usually got something there. So I don't want this to come across like, oh, they've got a big bag gun. What an evil person. Just want to give you my background as a fan, as a personal human being. That's how I look at this whole situation. So with that being said, we got some cliff notes here, and we're going to talk about how it could apply on the football field and with the contract. So, Jacob, when I seen you ding in, I went, all right, we got to be careful here because me and Jacob were raised very similarly in that regard, right? As Drew says in the chat, tough timing. It really is. I hate this for Rasheed because boy, oh boy, man. And listen, there's going to be some that go, oh, no, that ain't tough timing. That's a stupid mistake. I get it. I understand that standpoint too. Because again, if this dumb redneck can figure out you can't just go up in the airport like that. What's crazy, I think the part that bothers me the most though, Jacob, is how on one side of the country, the airline was okay with it. They should have known where his ticket was going, this and that. But hey, whoa, you can't fly into LaGuardia with that, right? Yeah. Like that looks a little, I don't want to say suspect, but that bothers me a little bit. Anyway, what's your take on it, man?
So, yeah, just to kind of, allegedly, if all this happened.
Might want to check your mic. May want to check your mic. I could be wrong, but it's a little bit echoey there. So
give me 1 second.
Hey, take your time, man. Take your time. I'll sing and dance here for a second. So the chat's on fire. Appreciate everybody jumping in here again, man. I hate talking about stuff like this. I'd rather be talking X's and O's, but we got to cover it. Obviously, like Drew says, it is tough timing as he's set to hit free agency. Not Drew, but Rasheed Walker. If Drew's set to hit free agency, Drew, let your boy hold a Benny. You know what I'm saying, man? Let me, why don't you hook me up? Try it now, Jacob. You good?
Yeah. Let me know if that's a little better.
Yeah, that's better.
We definitely were raised similar. I did grow up hunting and fishing, being in Wisconsin, and then right around age of 10, same kind of thing. It was this is a tool used to protect your family. I saw a bunch of people in the chat saying I got one 3 feet from me. And man, I sleep with one literally underneath my bed. I sleep with
I've got one in every room.
In my chair. I've got one in my bathroom, allegedly. And the thing is that I think what troubles me about this is the fact that Rasheed has a lawyer he can call at anyone's notice to get him, at least make a statement. It's like, why didn't you contact that lawyer and ask him, hey man, I'm going to be traveling between states, interstates. You know, like you said, I live on the border of Minnesota and Wisconsin. There's a lot of different laws. The second I go over that bridge on 94, there's a whole different ball game that you got to deal with for a lot of different things. It's the same thing when you go down in Illinois. It's a lot of different, you know, things that you need to be aware of, especially when you're at that kind of capacity. Now, I will say, when I first saw this news in my head, you know, I thought it was something way worse, like he had it on his person, or maybe like, you know, but the fact that he did, it seems like he did try to be, you know, at least it's in a lockbox, it's separated. The ammo, I'm sure, was probably separated. You know, it wasn't loaded, kind of thing. And that makes a lot of difference to me, in my honest opinion. It really does. Just seeing that I don't think that he intentionally did it. And again, that's what's probably more frustrating and sad to me. I saw some chats, you know, saying like, he ain't worth 20 mil no more. It's like, yeah. You know, I think a certain group of people are still going to be willing to pay this guy, because they understand, maybe when they look at the actual fine print of what happened, be like, hey man, this isn't a bad guy. He probably just made a stupid mistake. Lord knows that I have made plenty of stupid mistakes in my life. Now, if I was at that caliber in my career, I don't think, you know, like I said, I would probably contact a lawyer and say, hey, is this smart for me to do this? And if not, then what's the best way of getting around, you know, to make sure that I don't see myself in the back of a, you know, cherries kind of thing.
Right.
That's just where I'm at with it.
Got it. Let's go to the chat real quick here too. Actually, keep that up for just a second. JTL in the chat said we all wanted to move on from him anyway, so this just made it a whole lot easier. Yeah, I don't know, JTL. I don't believe that. I wouldn't be surprised if his value completely tanks, but like Jacob said, I wouldn't be surprised either if some teams look at it and go, all right, listen, you got to look off past record too. Has he ever gotten in trouble? To the best of my knowledge, he hasn't. He's stayed completely. Like, he's not gotten into any issues while being with the Green Bay Packers. I mean, the worst we had on him was him humping a player on the field after he pancaked him, right? Let's be honest here.
Finish him.
And by the way, that might have been the best draft moment ever when we uncovered that video live on the draft stream. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just go check it out. It's on X somewhere. Nothing like seeing a grown-ass college kid pancake block another big defensive lineman and then give him the business getting off the field. That's the only thing I know of. Now, earlier this year caused a little stink because he said that the Packers were going to go on a run and go undefeated or win out or whatever it was, and then they lost the next game. And I know Matt LaFleur seemed a little irritated by that. I think it's more about that stuff, the penalties and the lack of consistency that would probably prevent a team from paying him $20 million per, as opposed to something like this. It doesn't help, though. It definitely doesn't help.
Doesn't help.
So, nope. Yeah. 2-0 for this says, oh, that's the crime. That's not bad at all. Or at least it wasn't trespassing on a – yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. So, yeah. There's a lot of different things that could have gone bad there for sure. Packer Doug says 2-0 for this. I think it's a non-issue. In fact, the fact he was truthful to the agent might actually help him a bit. And again, yeah, like letting them know going in is the part that blows my mind. And I guess by law, it's not their responsibility for an airline employee to explain the laws to you. You got to kind of do your own research and know yourself. So I can understand that as well. Jay Cole says Sheed will get him a bag. So I think the majority of people probably think it ain't going to affect him too much. I just wouldn't be surprised if it did kind of play a little bit of role. So just a quick little recap. I put up here, guys, just Cliff Notes version of everything we know right now based off of other people tweeting, the New York Post article, everything. You guys can find it in our Patreon group. Again, just that report. The arrest, obviously, he was arrested. That's official. The discovery, Walker informed a Delta Airlines employee that his luggage contained a lockbox holding a 9mm Glock and ammo. Talks about the charges, everything. You guys can go check it out. Obviously, we read the article word for word. Now, let's talk about Rasheed Walker's value. What sucks is, he was actually ranked 16th on the Ringer's top 40 NFL free agents here. So coming in at the 16th spot, according to PFF, he graded out as the 57th best tackle. So, again, people were going to overvalue pass blocking tackles, and you can see his pass blocking grade, 69.3, pretty solid pass blocking grade. I think we would all agree we didn't want Rasheed back at $20 million per, and that's the calculated value right now. According to Spotrac, $20.3 million is the calculated market value, with comps like Dan Moore, Jordan Mailata, Orlando Brown Jr., Alaric Jackson. Statistical comparisons, same guys. guys. Those four, when you look at the percentage change, you're looking at a 3.12 in gameplay percentage, 2.13 in the positive for snaps percentage. Quarterback hurry allowed per game, a positive 8.6, which shows you he is a very good pass blocker. Sacks allowed per game was a positive 25.0 with a rating of a minus 7.53. So you get a median prime percentage change of 3.1%, an average prime percentage change of 6.2%. And that's where they landed on the calculated market value for Rasheed Walker, not including guaranteed money, 4 years, $81.1 million or 20.2 average annual salary. Again, there will be guaranteed money included in that number. When I say it's not included here, they're not specifically outlining 20 million fully guaranteed, 40 million fully guaranteed. So that was the calculated market value going into this whole debacle here when it comes to, obviously, Rasheed Walker set to hit free agency. So wanted to get you guys that. What I'm going to do is we're going to end the stream and we're going to reset and probably go live again here in a little bit. Probably be a good time to go ahead and dive into the offensive line, maybe some potential free agents. And we talked about it a little bit yesterday, maybe some draft prospects as that stuff's starting to fall into place now. The draft board's coming alive. I'm starting to create scouting reports now that you guys can find in our Patreon group as well. Matter of fact, I'll give you just a quick glimpse of that. And if you guys want to support the channel, the best way to do so is join our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And let me just kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about here. Like, I know many people were talking about Logan Jones out of Iowa. For whatever reason, you know, I think there's a lot of Packer fans that live in Iowa. So anytime we could get a potential Iowa college player, obviously it's very, very intriguing for those fans, and I get it, completely understand. So just a quick scouting report on him. You can see position, team, what year he was in terms of that, his size, biographical overview of everything. You got the physical profile and athleticism. You got the technical skills. We got the areas for improvement, and obviously the draft projection as he's set to be a second to third round pick. So again, that's just something else you get if you join our Patreon group, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. And we're going to continue to dive into the offseason here. So Jacob, you got anything you want to say here, man? Again, I want to just kind of end this stream. I'll reset. We'll probably go live again another hour or two as I get everything set up for the show that I planned on doing. I just woke up to the Patreon group going, Shido got in trouble. Shido in a clink this morning. So anything else you want to hit on?
No, I mean, I think that the majority of the chat seems to understand that it was an honest mistake from what I can gather. I think they understand that, I'll probably just leave it at that because otherwise I'm going to get myself in a little bit of hot water. A couple comments I don't quite understand or agree with, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, that's probably the best way to handle it. Again, we're never going to agree on everything, right? Not going to happen.
No, we shouldn't. That's what we're here to, if everybody agreed on everything, it would be the most boring podcast ever.
Yeah. If everybody agreed on everything in life, we would never be moving forward either. So we always we welcome differing opinions as long as they're respectful. And again, I know as we wrap up, I know there's a portion of the people watching this that think this is a really, really big deal and a bad thing. There's a portion that thinks it's a nothing burger. I'm kind of in the middle. I get it. I get it on both sides. I get both opinions. I understand. So we appreciate everybody jumping in the chat and hanging out with us. Again, we're going to reset. I don't think there's much podcasting going on today, so we'll probably be the only one going live for most of the day. So give me an hour or two. I'll reset, and we'll get in here and talk some more Packers. But thanks, everybody, for jumping in. My name's Clayton. That's Jacob. This is PTA. Go Pack, go.
There we go.
Bye, guys.